Okay. Now let's move past the production and into sales and distribution, which is the moment that you're in right now.
Right.
Again, Adam's asked me to ask you, how's the trifle thing translated around the world? Because that is a British.
Yeah, well, it doesn't is the answer, and the first thing is our distributor in the States says, well, we want to change the title, and they've come up with Love's Kitchen, which I like actually.
Yeah.
It's growing me all the time, and in fact, every time I speak to other people abroad, friends of mine who live abroad, they say, yeah, that works for me. It feels right.
I think we should get a straw poll in the chat room right now.
Yeah, go for it, absolutely.
So if you think the better title is No Ordinary Trifle, just type No Ordinary Trifle.
Oh, could you please tell us where you come from as well?
Yeah, and tell us where you come from.
Yeah.
And if you think Love's Kitchen is better, type Love's Kitchen and where you're from, and then Pete will do a kind of completely random count in a total panic to see whether we get any kind of metrics on that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. That'd actually be very useful for me as well.
Right.
Give me something to argue with next time I go into the room.
Right. And how have you found the whole sales and distribution process?
Well, I think that's the bit that it was funny just listening to Nigel talk about this earlier. I think that's the bit we all miss out on, and I think that's the bit we're not focusing on. Or at least I'm not. And I really think that I'm probably only halfway through the process. Having written it and cast it and shot it and raised the money, we're really only halfway through the process. And the second half of that process is really the marketing and the selling of the picture, which can be a very, very difficult job and can be a very long road.
So, Pete, have we got any questions in the chat room?
Not a lot. We've got one for you. David Reynolds wants to know, what is the best way to attract journalists to your indie movie premieres?
What is the best way to attract journalists to your indie movie premieres?
I don't know. Make sure you've got something to drink. I don't know.
Okay, so just kind of looking at your, the career because let's talk a little bit about your earlier career, because I know we spoke earlier about the fact that you were in Los Angeles for 10 years. Right. What were you doing out there, and how did you find that experience?
I went back to Los Angeles. I went to Los Angeles to get into film.
Right.
So I went to study at UCLA. I went to study film and writing at UCLA, and then I was a script analyst for 3 companies there and carried on writing scripts, and so I was just going through that on a sort of weekly basis and really hoping to get an agent, get a manager. I did have a manager for a while, and get something sold, and came very close a couple of times, but it never really happened. So I ended up making the short and then raising the money for the feature and then starting my own production company.
Right. I mean, we have an opportunity now to actually just talk about something we were talking about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
My partner in Los Angeles is running this thing called the Hollywood Field Trip,
right,
which is a 1-week course where they've set up meetings with immigration attorneys, with managers, agents,
right,
talent agents, all plethora of people. Do you think that kind of experience would be valuable to someone for that? I'm thinking about that first year when you're out in LA. It's tough.
I think it would be very useful. I think there are 2 things that you get from being in Los Angeles. One is just how amazingly upbeat Americans are. Just they are so gung-ho and so enthusiastic. And I think that when you are in what is, I think, a very difficult business and what can be a very unrewarding business until something actually moves, that's very, very important to have that community around you. And the other thing I think about it is that they are enormously disciplined about their writing and their development. I mean,
right.
A little bit less so now, but their writing is extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what attracted me to the States in the first place.
It is remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it was actually the novels of James Ellroy. And when I first read his novels, I thought, look, it was really, really strong stuff, very muscular writing. I was just so impressed with that.
So looking back at your career, I have we got any more questions, Pete? Or are we? It's
Nobody
okay.
loves
In fact,
me.
let's. What's the straw poll doing right now?
There's a lot of people loving Love's Kitchen.
Oh yeah, we're good. Oh
yeah,
cool.
But equally, people are very fond of No Ordinary Trifile.
But if there are a winner,
if you're breaking it down into countries,
Love's Kitchen.
Excellent.
And what about countries?
We've got people from Australia, someone from LA, a lot of people all around the country here. but they're the main ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Fantastic. So I got to say, Love's Kitchen. I think it also implies genre as well.
Yep.
You know,
absolutely.
And you get a sense of what it is.
Yeah.
So just looking back at your career, then, what mistakes do you think you've made? I always ask this question of everybody.
So many. Wow. Leaving my job before I got a proper job, which made it. That was not the smartest move. I think probably underestimating the amount of time and work it was going to take to get anything done at all. I think that was a huge mistake. So probably just being cocky was the big one. What else? What amazingly stupid things have I done? I mean, it's so many, it's staggering. I should be able to trot out a list for you.
Any moments when you look back and go, gosh, that, ouch?
Well, normally it's about sort of 15 seconds after I've opened my mouth. But, I can't think of anything particular. I mean, I think, my personal life, but that's another story, and maybe even a film. But no, I can't think of anything. I think everybody has their own process,
right.
And the truth is that most of the people I know who've been in it have been doing it for a very long time.
Right. Okay, so final question then, which I always ask everyone. What advice would you offer an emerging filmmaker, a new filmmaker, a new writer? It can be anything. Life advice, writing advice, filmmaking advice, business, anything.
Well, there are two pieces of advice which I think are really vital, is work. I mean, just if you're a writer, you really do have to do it every day. I think that's really important. And I think if you want to make a film and you have the resources and you have the script, the most important thing is set a date. That was a piece of advice given to me a while ago, and that was maybe the most valuable advice I had, because you can wonder about the budget, you can wonder about your cast, but set the date and things will happen, and people will start to take you seriously.
Fantastic.